Howdy y'all, welcome back to Luke's Homebrew. Today we are covering the brand new Unearthed Arcana that is presenting a whole plethora of new feats for you to play with in your brand new D&D 5th edition game. Although 5th edition is not really that new. So let's get right into it. So it is playtest material, so if you're a player and you bring this up to your DM, there's an opportunity for them to say, no, this is all just in beta testing, so some might be super underpowered, some might be overpowered, but this is going to be my opinions on it as a multi-campaign, multi-year-long DM on what changes I would make to it, if any, and really just my opinions on it. So sit back, enjoy. So first up, we got the Artificer Initiate. You've learned some of the Artificer's inventiveness, granting you the following benefits. You learn one cantrip of your choice from Artificer spell list, and you learn one first level spell of your choice from that list. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability. When you gain a level, you can replace one of these spells with another spell of the same level. Alright, so that's just Magic Initiate on a stick, but only exclusive to Artificer. You can cast this feat's first level spell without a spell slot. You must finish the long rest before you can cast it again. You can also cast the spell using spell slots you have. Alright, that's pretty cool. I think that this whole shtick should be added to Magic Initiate anyways, so I like it. Then you gain one proficiency in Artisan's tools of your choice. You can use that type of tool as your spellcasting focus for any spell that you cast that uses intelligence or spellcasting ability. So, I like it. It's pretty much on par with Magic Initiate. Same ability, except it limits you to only Artificer spells, which are mostly utilitary spells rather than damage spells, and gives you one less cantrip, but then it replaces it with a proficiency. So I think that's a fair trade. It's not a skill proficiency, but nonetheless, it can be useful. So, Chef. Time and effort spent mastering the culinary arts has paid off. You gain the following benefits. Constitution or Wisdom score has gone up by 1, so you've been eating a lot of bad food. You gain proficiency with cook's utensils if you don't already have it. As part of a short rest, you can cook special food provided you have ingredients and cook's utensils on hand. You can prepare enough of this food for a number of creatures equal to 4 plus your proficiency bonus. That is a lot. At the end of short rest, any creature who eats the food and spends 1 or more hit dice regains that many hit points plus an extra 1d8. That's pretty cool. I like it. So far, I'm getting, I think, Inspiring Leader is probably a better ability. Just my opinion. But then we have this second bit. With 1 hour work, you can finish a long rest. You can cook a number of treats equal to your proficiency bonus. These special treats last 8 hours after being made. A creature can use a bonus action to eat one of them and gains temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. That's pretty cool. That's like some false life action right there. This is a very unique, very cool ability. I like it, and it kind of gives your character some depth and things that they would do during a short and long rest. Power-wise, I would probably compare it to Inspiring Leader, and this might be better if you just don't feel like talking. You can be like, alright, my character is going to cook some stuff. But it's pretty much on par with that. I really like it. Nothing bad to say. I think I would use it in my campaign if one of my players wanted to use it. Next, we got the Crusher. Practice in the art of crushing your enemies, granting following benefits. Strength or dex increased by 1, max 20. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals bludgeoning damage, you can move it up 5 feet to an unoccupied space, provided the target is no more than 1 size larger than you. When you score a critical hit that deals bludgeoning damage to a creature, attack rolls against that creature are made with advantage until the end of your next turn. That is pretty cool. I like that. So, essentially, you can move someone 5 feet, which is super cool. So, literally, you get to move the terrain. You yourself don't get to provoke opportunity attacks, but if someone were to do this and you have like the rogue next to you or another fighter, you could move them 5 feet and then they get an attack of opportunity potentially. And then critical hit is just fantastic. The attack rolls against creatures are made with advantage, does not only include you, so all your allies get advantage on their attack rolls. I'm a big fan of this. I wouldn't change it. I think it's fair. Critical hits, only 5% chance, maybe 10% if you're a fighter or whatnot. And then this is just a unique ability. Let's move on to Eldritch Adept spellcasting or Pact Magic feature required as a prerequisite. Studying cult lore, you have unlocked Eldritch power within yourself. You learn one Eldritch invocation option of your choice from the Warlock class. The invocation as a prerequisite, you can choose that invocation only if you're a Warlock and only if you meet the prerequisite. Whenever you gain level, you can replace invocation with another one in the Warlock's class. I am a huge fan of this. This should have existed in the base game, and I'm honestly surprised I didn't even think of this. So essentially, you pick one Eldritch invocation. If it requires, like, you have to be a Pact of the Tome Warlock or a Pact of the Blade Warlock for it to be able to work, obviously you have to be a Warlock for that. But otherwise, you just have to meet the level requirement, and there's tons of them. I can see pretty much any human picking up this feat as their starting level feat and just get Devil's Sight. Like, how freaking amazing would that be? Because every other race gets dark vision. Fey Touched. Your exposure to Feywild has, and one or more of its denizens has left a magical mark on you. I'm liking this already. I love the Feywild. Increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1, max 20. You learn Misty Step. You learn Misty Step spell and one first level spell of your choice. First level spell must be from the Divination or Enchantment schools of magic. You can cast each of these spells without expending a spell slot. Once you cast either of them this way, you can't cast that spell until you finish a long rest. You can also cast these using spell slots. You have appropriate level. Spells casting ability is the ability increased by this feat. I am a huge fan of this, and I hope they go in and change all the feats and abilities in all the 5th edition books to allow you to cast these racial or feat-based spellcasting. You can use it once through the feat for free, but then you can also use it again if you have spell slots, because I think that should have been the base game. I'm a big fan of this. Perfectly balanced. I don't have a problem with it. Fighting Initiate, proficiency with a martial weapon. Like, that's hard. Your martial training has helped you develop a particular style of fighting. As a result, you learn one fighting style option of your choice from the fighter class. If you already have a style, the one you choose must be different. Whenever you gain a level, you can replace it. That's easy. I don't know if this is worth taking a feat slot. I think there's a lot of other feats that are better. But nonetheless, I think this is an interesting one if you're going for the master of all fighting styles type of build, because that would be fun, and who doesn't want to do that? But at the end of the day, I think this one's a little underpowered, but whatever. Gunner. You learn Quick Hand, Keen Eye when employing firearms. Excuse me. Granting you the following benefits. Increase your dexterity score by 1 to a max of 20. You gain proficiency in firearms. You ignore loading property of firearms. That is OP. Not really, but like, that's really good. And then being within 5 feet of a hostile creature doesn't impose disadvantage on your ranged attack rolls. That is fantastic. I love it. I have nothing else to say other than I love it. Ignoring loading property is a pretty good thing, but then again, I think even in Mercer's thing, it's 7th level, you ignore the loading property or something like that. Regardless, this is a really good feat. I'm a big fan, and I'm glad they're actually implementing firearms into D&D now. Meta Magic Adept. If I had to guess, this is just going to give you 2 meta magic options. You have to have spellcasting or pact magic feature. I really like this. I like how they're allowing you to multi-class, but not actually multi-class. And yet again, I think this is something that should have been the base game when they printed 5th edition, because multi-classing is great, but then you lose out on that level 20 ability, even if you dip in just 1 level. So it's really nice to be able to get the few things that you really want to get, but then it still costs you your feats or ability score improvements. So pretty much you just get 2 meta magic options. You can cast it, use it. You gain 2 sorcery points to spend on magic. These points are added to any sorcery points you have from another source, but can only be used on meta magic. You regain all spent sorcery points when you finish a long rest. That's really good. So if you're a sorcerer and pick this up, you just pretty much get 2 more meta magic options, which I think allows you to pick up all of them. And then you just get an extra 2 sorcery points, which is the equivalent of like a first level spell, or just another quicken spell. So that's great. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of all of these so far. None of them seem to be overpowered, but let's move on to Piercer. You achieved penetrating precision in combat, granting you the following benefits. Strength and dexterity increased by 1 to a maximum of 20. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals piercing damage against that creature, you can re-roll one of the attack's damage dice. You must use the new roll. I am a huge fan of that. And then when you score a critical hit, deals piercing damage to a creature, you can roll an additional damage die when determining extra piercing damage. So I really like that they're trying to give the specific weapon types various different feats to help them along. I think, frankly, though, these things should have been in the base game, because, frankly, there's no difference between me picking up a club and using a short sword, other than the short sword's just strictly better because it has the light property. And that's really unfortunate, because if I wanted to be a guy that's carrying a club around, I'm just at a strict disadvantage, and I'm giving that to myself because I wanted to do something I wanted to do. So I like that they're applying feats to each of those, but frankly, I think it should have already been the base game in some fashion, way, or another. Let's move on to Poisoner before we move on to the last page. You can prepare and deliver deadly poisons, gaining the following benefits. When you make a damage roll, you ignore resistance to poison damage. Thank God. Finally. Oh, this one sentence right here needed to be in the base game. There's so much resistance and immunity to poison in D&D 5th edition that if you wanted to make a poisoner, literally you're rolling about a 30% chance that you're actually going to be able to deal the damage you want. It's dumb. Unless you're playing an intrigue-based campaign and you know that the majority of your opponents are going to be human. And even then, there's ways to get around that as a human. But you can coat your weapon in poison as a bonus action instead of an action. Big fan. Pretty much just drinking a healing potion as a bonus action. That's how I rule it. But moving on. You gain proficiency in Poisoner's Kit if you don't already have one. With 1 hour of work in a Poisoner's Kit, you can spend 50 gold pieces worth of materials to create a number of doses of potent poison equal to your proficiency bonus. Once applied, poison retains its potency for 1 minute or until you hit with the weapon. When damage coated with the poison deals damage to a creature must make a DC 14 con save or take 2d8 damage and become poisoned until the end of your next turn. I'm glad that they finally made some form of rules for making minor poisons. This is just a problem with D&D 5th edition in general, but I like that it says specifically takes 1 hour, 50 gold pieces, and a Poisoner's Kit, which I think is 100 gold pieces, and generally they're illegal if your DM is doing their job. And then once applied, lasts for 1 minute. Very cool. I like it. Not an OP ability. I think any rogue should pretty much pick this up. I'm a fan. Practiced expert. Yeah. Hone your proficiency with particular skills and tools, gaining following benefits. 1 ability score of your choice gets +1. Very cool. You gain proficiency in 1 skill or tool of your choice. I'm going to say generally people are going to choose the skill. And then choose one of your skill tool proficiency and you gain expertise. I'm a big fan. I think this pretty much replaces the human racial feat in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. I know that was one that humans tended to get because it gave you a skill and a proficiency and I think a language. I think this is just as good, if not better, because you get the ASI partial. Shadow Touch. How to bend shadows from experience in Shadowfell. You gain the following benefits. Increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma to a 1, and this is probably going to be on par with our Fae. You learn the Darkness spell and 1 first level spell of your choice of the Illusion or Necromancy spells, and it's same rules as the Fae Touched ability, which we already read up here. That's very cool. Darkness is a really good spell. Could probably pair up really well with Eldritch Adept if you're playing a human. I'm a big fan. Super simple and easy. Yet again, I agree that this whole mechanic where you can cast it using spell slots should have been in the game from the beginning. Shield training. We have a couple shield feats. Let's see if this one can stand up. You've trained effectiveness using shields. You gain the following benefits. Your strength, dexterity, or constitution increases by 1 to a max of 20. Gain proficiency in shields. In combat, you can don or doff a shield as a free object interaction on your turn. I agree with that. That's pretty much how I would rule it in real life, or in my games anyways, though, so I don't know if anyone else would rule it differently, but okay. Then, if you have spellcasting or pact magic feature, you can use a shield as your spellcasting focus. That's it. Yeah, this one needs a buff. The partial ASI is neat, and then the rest are pretty much things that you're, like, unless you're gonna be a wizard using a shield, but then you might as well just, I don't know. I don't really agree with this one. I think it's designed for the wizard or warlock to be able to pick up a shield and be able to use it and then not have to multi-class. But at the end of the day, I just pick up war magic. It's just better. But let's move on to slasher. You've learned how to cut, where to cut and have the greatest results. So this is just going to be the same as piercer, except with slashing damage. Whenever you hit a creature with an attack, deals slashing damage, you can reduce their movement speed by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. That is really good. I'm a big fan of reducing movement speed. That's one of the few creature-to-creature interactions that can actually get you out of a pinch, and then also allows you to control the battlefield as a fighter. Not specifically fighter, but like barbarian, etc. When you score a critical hit, deals slashing damage, you grievously wound it until the start of your next turn. That target is disadvantaged in all attack rolls. That is a powerful ability, and I like that they're playing on the whole critical hit thing. It really makes criticals feel even more special than they already are. And last two abilities, Tandem Tactician. Presence of in a scrap tends to elevate your comrades. You gain the following benefits. You can use the help action as a bonus action. Oh my god, I love it already. It is a shame that the Mastermind Rogue was the only subclass or class that was able to do that. I'm so glad that this is finally a feat. And then when you use the help action, aid an ally and help in attacking a creature, increase the range of the help action by 10 feet. Additionally, you can help 2 allies targeting the same creature within range when you use the help action this way. So, to clear things up in this final meat of a paragraph, so essentially, help action normally just has a range of touch, or pretty much just 5 feet. So now it extends it by 10 feet, so you now have a range of 15, you have a 15-foot bubble that you can use the help action as a bonus action when you pick up this feat. Additionally, when you use the help action, whether it's through a familiar, whether you're actually doing it, or you're using it through this feat, it only gives advantage on the next attack roll for the next attack. So what that means is if I'm attacking an enemy and then 2 of my friends are attacking, normally, if I were to use the help action, only one of my friends would be able to get advantage on their first attack per turn, or per help action, essentially. So I would do the help action, they would get advantage on their first attack. If they had a second attack, it would be normal. And then the other guy kind of gets screwed over and just has a normal turn. Now with this, it allows it so both of them get advantage on their first attack, which is very cool. I really like that. Next up is Tracker, and this is our final ability before we close out the video. So increase your wisdom score by 1 to a maximum 20. You learn the Hunter Mark spell. You can cast it once without expending a spell slot, once per long rest. And you can cast it using spell slots. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability, and then you have advantage on wisdom survival checks to track creatures. I am a huge fan of this. Pretty much, it makes the fighter be able to pretty much be on par with the base 5e ranger, which is sad. But, I mean, we all knew that ranger sucked. Unless you multi-class it, and I will get into that probably in a video soon. But if you did enjoy, please go ahead and hit that like button down below. It helps the YouTube algorithm, helps me grow, helps support the channel, and helps make more videos like this. Otherwise, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you're already this far in the video. I really appreciate it, guys. If you want to talk about anything D&D related, or just hang out, play games with me, I stream on Twitch pretty much every Monday and Wednesday at 8:30, 9 o'clock-ish, but then I occasionally hop in on other days of the week. So if you want to, just check me out on Twitch. Link should be in the description. Otherwise, it is at Luke's Home Brew. Otherwise, I'll catch you later. Bye.